Kage, presented by the Hamstra Group.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Coach's Cage program here on 3KGTheCage.com. Bob Kurtz along with Jeff Gastineau and Scotty Miller ready to kick off another week of high school football coaches. James Broyles has stepped in from the Kankakee Valley Cougars. James, good to see you. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing really well. Well, let's talk about a win last week. That's a major thing, right, in the postseason.
It is, especially for us. It hadn't been done probably, I guess, here in the last 5-6 years. So, to get out of the first round. So that's a big deal. And the fashion we did it in was really good. Really proud of the kids. Tell
us who you played, score, and take us through the game.
So we had South Bend Riley at home, and we had, I think it was scoring to being 35-6, I think it was. We started out the game, we knew we had opportunities as far as, potential onside or short kicks. And quite honestly, that's exactly what we did the entire night. I mean, we lined up and gave our kickoff team the opportunity every time we had a chance just to either we're going to try to hit the front row or we're going to put it in different spots to get the ball back. And I think we end up getting at least 3 or 4 of them. So
you're getting to be a habit of doing that,
I know. We're going to start looking like that one high school coach that everybody hates. But, no, it was good. And the thing was that night, the weather wasn't the best, and I was happy that we were on our field for it. But, we took the ball, and what we talked about the week previously here is we had to play physical. We had to play, mistake-free football, and for the most part we did. And right from the get-go, we get the ball back, and, man, we just marched the ball down the field, score. It was just an onslaught of run plays over and over again. And
Coach's dream.
Yeah, it was really good. And then we started mixing in the pass. Grant did a great job. He ended up over 200-some yards passing.
Wow.
Which was unbelievable,
Wow.
We had multiple guys in good yardage. Max Griffey ended up with 70-some yards rushing. Grant himself had, I think, 40-something yards rushing. We had another kid step in. It was all around the game that we needed to play.
Was it a game that you guys had like maybe 10 or 12 plays? Here you professionals guys, do 12 plays in a row, kind of get things going, and you noticed how things were progressing in that first series and so?
It was. And, in Riley, they're a different style team. They're athletic, and they could move. They had some players that we had to take care of. But, that type of team, they weren't necessarily extremely a disciplined defense. So you didn't kind of know what was going to happen. But we got them in situations after the first few plays. You kind of know, okay, this is what they're kind of going to do. Mm-hmm. And so we started exposing that. So it was just a great called game by Coach Armstrong, and just execution-wise, offensively, it was great.
So do you script out your first few plays all the time, or no?
Yeah, they're scripted out.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work the way it does it?
Depending on what happens,
yeah,
we might not use it, but they are. Yeah, you got your 1st and 10, 2nd and short, 2nd and long. It's all kind of sitting there, and you get a variety of plays that we pull from. So yeah, it is, and we try to follow it.
Do you ever, if this one play works, you just keep on running that play?
We have done that, yes. And for us is our power.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Exactly.
If they're not going to stop it, why?
And that's the thing. It's one of those. It's up to them to stop it, and when they stop it, I guess we'll change it. So we have. We're a team. We run power a lot, and
But yet to still get the passes in that.
Correct. I hear Coach Armstrong calling our power name, what we call it, and it's over and over again. It's like, well, if it's working, 3 yards pop is good, right? 3 yards, 3.5 yards, you're gonna get a first down.
Absolutely. So what was the halftime score? Was it?
It would end up being 21-6.
Okay.
It's 21-0, and I thought the clock was out. It ran out. I'm telling you, it ran out.
But somebody else didn't think so.
They did not think so. Clock's on zeros. We're walking out the field, and all the refs are waving their arms, telling us to come back on. We got 1 second left.
Oh, geez.
Ball's on the 40, 35 or 40.
No.
Oh no.
And sure enough,
Mary.
you know what's going to happen. I mean,
Oh,
the
gosh.
one thing happens exactly what happened. The quarterback scrambles out to the right, and he has an arm. He's not necessarily fairly accurate with it, but he has an arm, and he was accurate that time. And we let a receiver, get behind us on defense, and yeah, touchdown.
You probably weren't very happy at halftime then.
That was a frustration. That was, just a breakdown. But, I was happy with the fact that how we were playing. We were playing the style of football that we needed to play. And I was happy about that. And, just telling me it was one play, we got to put it past you. We got to come back out and regroup. And, they did. I mean, then you go back at defense. And to play defense against, that style quarterback, he's very elusive. And he can move. And they boxed him in for the majority of the night, which was incredible. And we didn't help our defense out much because we ended up going for it quite a bit. The way the night is with the weather, we're going to go for it, and we put Coach Scott's defense in some curious situations in the 10.
Did you apologize for that or not?
We did. I said, apologize. I'm sorry for that. And he goes, we got it. You're all right.
We'll take care of it.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Because if something would have happened, I'm sure I would have got an earful.
Now, sometimes you're not going to do that all the time, right?
No.
It just depends on the game, right?
Right.
And you never, of course, you can never see the circumstances that happened in those situations either. Sometimes
a lot of times you feel comfortable enough during the
Right.
game. You get that feeling. You kind of the defense is playing well. They're moving. They're fast. They're just doing everything they need to do, and so you feel more comfortable going forward in certain situations. Now, some of those we probably shouldn't have done, but it's part of it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Second half, more of the same. Then, huh?
Exactly the same. A lot more. We did more boot action, play action stuff, and that's where Grant started exposing them. I mean, we had guys running wide open everywhere because they started centering on the run. A lot of play action run, pass off that, and they didn't have an answer for it. They really didn't. I mean, it was what we wanted to do. We could have done.
That's got to make you feel good, though, after the game,
does.
right, to do that?
It does. I mean, and being that's the first round sectionals.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to be able to do that the first round. And
So why couldn't we done that game one, right?
Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah. But no, it was. But we talked about that too after the game. With our schedule. I mean, you look at the teams that we played, and starting with Rensselaer. I mean, tough opponent. And just keeps going. You look at the schedule of everybody we played. For the most part, everybody did pretty well this year.
Yeah.
And then when you pick up a Lafayette Harrison, and we talked about that here, and then you go through the gauntlet of Lowell, Hobart, and Drain, and it's like you try to build off that, try to help those guys, hope they take something from it, and they did. So.
And the thing is, there's no mercy. You just got to keep going, whether you win or lose. You just have to keep.
That's right, and you just keep. You got to persevere through all that stuff, and it's hard. It's a tough sport, and for them to come out and play like they did, you tell them, and everybody knows it. You lose, you're done. Mm-hmm. It's what it is.
That's right. It's
so,
one and done.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got to decide if you want to play more football or not. Mm-hmm. How hard do you want it?
So that leads to you named some of who played well for you.
Well, Grant did really well for us, and then
Grant Stowers,
Grant Stowers,
okay.
and Gage Stowers actually did really well.
Okay.
Gage was playing defensive end for us, and he put a lot of pressure on that quarterback. I mean, he'll probably, if he's listening, he's probably frustrated because he probably had an opportunity to get about 3 sacks or so, but the kid was just, moving around enough where he missed some of those, but he was able to get the quarterback off track and disrupt it enough to where it helped us. Max Griffey, he was picked up the pace on running the ball, 70 yards rushing. I think he had 12 carries. I think, and he just did a great job, and then he flipped around on defense. Him and Miles Turpin was downhill all day long as linebackers. I mean, and I don't know why they insisted on trying to run the ball in the middle a lot, because those two were they were just teeing off on them, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Lunch bucket time.
It really was.
I mean,
it was.
if they're coming at you, you just stay your ground,
yeah,
right?
They did a great job with it. I mean, it was really, really good. So, yeah, some good, a lot of good effort all the way around.
So now let's carry this over to this week now, right?
Yeah, we're picking up, getting ready to go St. Joe, South Bend
St. Joe. You go there.
We go there.
Was that them beating Logan Sport? Was that a surprise to you or no?
I said when we watched the whole draw, I was like, you know what, that team, for some reason, St. Joe plays a tough schedule.
Sure.
So in our sectional, when they look at all that, the ratings of schedules, they have the toughest schedule, and then we're next. I mean, they play all of them. I mean, they play the Penn and all those schools over there. So,
Yes, they do.
You know, it's a tough deal. So it's very deceiving at a two-win season.
Yep.
You know, you're looking at them. And Logansport, I mean, they're a good ball club, and their schedule, not because it's normally this way, just for this year, was a little more soft than what it had been. Their conference wasn't necessarily the strongest. So there was a good recipe for disaster for them, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, they ended up being 15-14, and they won on a 2-point conversion. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So earlier in the game, they went for 2, and that was the difference
Wow.
for the game. So, yeah. So it's going to be good. It'll be tough.
Especially you got to go there, too.
We do. Yeah, it's an hour-and-a-half trip, and you know that's always fun. But they're athletic. They're you know, you kind of look at St. Joe and you look at them like, man, they're like a bunch of basketball players out there.
Pass the ball, run the ball, both, or
They'll do both. I think they attempt to pass probably a little bit more. The quarterback's not bad quarterback, but it's one of those where you hold your ground and you understand what you're doing. We'll be fine. You know, we play physical football. We will be just fine.
So I'm assuming you're assuming you can win this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we have practiced this week and just to see the how these kids are mentally, how they're focused, I would hope that we win this game.
Does your practices get better here in the postseason because of the finality of things?
Well, you know, I mean, it's kind of funny. We talked earlier in this, and we talked, you know, this is our first time winning the first-round game in a while.
In a while, yeah.
So, yeah, you know, it gets the kids really excited. You know, you win that first one, and all of a sudden, hey, we're playing ball. We're getting ready. Hopefully, we can play football in November, which would be even better, you know.
No kidding.
That hadn't happened, in our school about 30-some years.
Is that
so
right?
They
Yeah.
get a sectional championship. So, I mean, these kids are they're seeing that, and they're hungry for that, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So,
Do you see some of the ahas moments even from these players? That's what I call it, you know, the aha, you know, I guess I should have been doing this all season, or, you know.
well, you do. Oh, you find it. Yeah, especially in practice. Also, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, you're right. Yes.
And it's pretty, it's finally, I mean, it's good to see that they're finally getting it, but, you know, sometimes that's what it takes, repetitious, right?
It does, and, you know, you hope that they would get a lot of this stuff earlier on, but you know what? If you're unfortunate for us and you know, you pick it up and you're doing it right now and it's working, we'll take it.
We're going to be the keys Friday night.
We have got to play physical. And I know we talked about this a lot, but this is really crucial for us to come out of the gates playing physical football. We have to.
Did you do that the other night?
We did. We were very physical, and I was so happy with them that they did that for the majority of the game. We have to finish a football game. You know, we've done a lot of halftime, a lot of halves.
Yes.
We played football.
Yes,
good
You
football,
didn't
a
play
lot
the
of
first
halves.
half or the second half.
Right.
You never played a complete
Right.
game.
Anymore, you got to do it
You do. You got to
this
go all
point of the year.
We have to, and this game is no different than the other. We have to, and we can sustain the physicality that we need to. I mean, we will be just fine.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
That would be.
That'd be awesome.
Pretty cool. That'd be good.
I'm sure
Happy.
you guys are pretty confident now, right?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm confident in our boys because I think, you know, getting that win and playing the style that they played, you know, to get the win, I think that builds a lot of confidence in them. I mean, they think they're hungry enough, you know, to go after this, and not, you don't feel like, oh my, this is we're going up South Bend. This is, I don't know.
The schedule you played, that shouldn't
well,
be
that's the thing.
shouldn't be any problem.
My goodness, you know, you play Lafayette Harrison, you played Lowell, you play Hobart and Drain. I mean, build
Highland,
off that.
yeah.
Build off that stuff. You have to.
It's a strong conference.
I mean, you look at any one of the teams that we play. There's a lot of times those teams could go to semi-state, go to state. I mean, they're all playing very well. So you got to build off that, and that's what they have done that. And it's really it's a lot of fun to see. I'm happy for them.
Probably going to play in bad weather again. It seems like, huh?
That's what I hear. I think it's going to be, and then they have turf.
Will that
wow.
affect your
Run game?
Yeah, call it on or not?
Not so much, because we're not really that strong vertical passing team, where we're just going to drop back and throw it
Right.
40 yards downfield. I mean, it does change some of the stuff that we might do, but I mean, I have every confidence in who's out there in the field, so I think we'll be okay.
Is it similar field like what you guys have?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so therefore your shoes and everything. I mean,
Everything's
that's
the same.
so
Yeah, so it'll be really good. It'll be really
because you
should be
guys
really good.
experienced wet weather. I mean,
Oh.
good Lord.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one monsoon game.
Where are we at injury-wise now?
You know, man,
Your running backs.
running back. You know, we obviously have the one that's not with us for the whole year.
Yeah.
But Jack has been, man, he's had 2 really good days of practice. I think he's going to be back in there. He's looking really good. That's a huge bonus
Good.
for us. And actually, we get Kate Capps.
Oh, wow.
He's going to be able to play defense for us.
He got hurt in the game we did. So yeah.
Mhm. I think he's going to be. He looked really good today, moving around, and so we're actually gaining some kids back.
Sure.
Instead of losing them, that's a
which
good
is
thing.
yeah, it's a huge deal for us right now.
And a great opportunity, or right there is the setting is good
Absolutely.
with
I
her
mean,
coming in.
Yeah, what a great time to get these kids back, and I mean, Jack hasn't been able to play much here the last 2 games of the year, so this is a big deal. This is good for us.
We'll go get them.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
James Broyles from the Kankakee Valley Cougars back with more of the Coach's Cage program on 3kgthecage.com right after this.
For over 60 years, Hamster Group has helped build America. In 1958, a small Northwest Indiana builder began constructing homes. Through the years, by following the motto, quality and integrity you can depend on, Hamster Group has grown. Today, Hamster Group's associated around the country with homes, schools, shopping malls, churches, medical buildings, and more. So for your next project, large or small, and quality and integrity you can depend on, call 219-956-3111 and speak with the experts at Hamster Group.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117 or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
You're listening to The Coach's Cage, presented by the Hamstra Group.
And welcome back here to 3KG The Cage at Arnie's Pizza here in Rensselaer. Glad that you have joined us here. If you're looking for great food before the big game or just anytime, stop by Wagon Wheel Grill in Rensselaer. From their famous delicious Wagon Master to their great homemade chili, Wagon Wheel is a place to go and satisfies your hunger needs. Their hours of operation are 10:30 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day except for the various holidays. Whether you dine in or you take it to the game or even stop after the game, call Wagon Wheel Grill 866-9942. That's your next venue for great food on South College Avenue in Rensselaer. And we're joined now by Mark Hall of the West Central Trojans. And Mark, glad that you're here with us. Had a tough game, though, last Friday night, didn't you?
Yeah, Winmac is a tough team. We played them earlier in the year, a couple weeks before, and we did some nice things, or did some okay things in that game, and unfortunately, we just weren't able to, do any better this time. Again, we were able to do some nice things, just not enough to make it closer or come out with the win. About our kids, they played hard the entire time. We started the game. We forced a turnover on their first possession, and were able to drive inside their 30, but we just couldn't finish off the drive, and then we made them do a long drive, and then they scored, and then we went 3 and out, and they scored quickly, and then the second quarter was not pretty for us, but we came back at halftime and played hard the rest of the game and finished the game out. And
what was the final score?
Final score ended up being 48-14.
Okay.
Bladen Huber scored for us in the second half, and so did Gerardo Salazar. And then we had a 2-point conversion by Spencer Lehman in there for our 14 points. But, Spencer did add that into it for us, and that was his second of the year. So getting that was good for him going forward, since he'll be a junior next year and somebody we're going to be relying upon. But we will be missing our 2 seniors that have led us all year long offensively, with Bladen Huber and Gerardo Salazar. Both of them had a nice game against Winamac on Friday. Bladen had over 100 yards rushing, and Gerardo had 86 yards rushing. So both of them did nice, did some nice things. Just unfortunately, we weren't able to, make it consistent all the way through in the first half as well. And we had our opportunities, we had some chances, we just didn't capitalize on them.
When it's your last game of the year, what do you say to your club after the game, or do you say anything?
We talk about how this isn't ever a fun thing to talk about.
Right.
But every year, all but 6 teams are going to have that talk, and it's one of those things that you're going to have it unless you're going to go all the way to November, and even then, half the teams are playing that last 2 days in November.
Yeah.
Half of them are going to have that same talk, so it's a tough one. I told the kids that that feeling you have right now is what you have to remember all through the off season. When you feel like, hey, you know what, I'm tired, I don't want to go to weights, you got to remember that feeling you have right now, and that's got to drive you all throughout the year. So just things like that, and then seniors, thanking them for everything, and it's one of those things that it's always sad.
Was it miscues and things like that the first half? Because it sounds like your second half was just, really good for you guys.
We had some blocking issues in the first half. We didn't really turn over the ball. We just didn't execute some of our things. And then defensively, we were not securing the edge very well, and they were able to get outside on us. So those types of things were. We talked about at halftime. Talk about how this is what we have to change if we want to, come back out in the second half and do anything, and we were able to do that.
Does Winamac have a chance to go far in the tournament here?
They're ranked number 4 in the state. They're undefeated. They've got a shot. They've got a shot to do it, but they're playing a tough team in Judson this week, and Judson's also really good. Judson has lost, I think, 3 games on the year, but they've lost to some good teams. They lost to Culver Military, I believe. They lost to Tippy Valley, who's undefeated right now in 3A, and then they lost to Pioneer.
Did they play each other in the regular season? Or
they did not.
No.
During that week that Judson and Winamac were supposed to play, it was one of the 2 weeks that Winamac had COVID issues. The other one was when they were supposed to play LaVille. So it's hard to tell exactly how they would stack up, but it's probably going to be a pretty good game.
So you had a lot of seniors.
No.
So you had a few seniors.
Had 2. We have 3 on the roster.
3 on the roster. Well, we talked about a couple of them, right?
Yeah.
Already, so.
Dale Gilger would be our other senior, but he's been injured, I think, since before the first Winamac game. So it's been about a month that he's been out, and he joined late, so he didn't get it in there at the beginning of the year because he had to get his practices in. So he wasn't with us for very long as far as games were concerned, and it was his first year playing, but he came out and he worked hard. He did what we asked of him, and he was able to get there and have some playing time on special teams. So he's one that, we're happy he played, and, hopefully he can recover quickly, because he has been a pretty successful person for us as far as track is concerned. So hopefully he's got a chance to be back for that. But then I believe I heard him say he wants to join the Air Force. So hopefully he's definitely ready to be able to do that. And then our two seniors that we relied upon quite a bit this year, Gerardo Salazar originally started the year as a wing until we had a quarterback get injured. Then we moved him to fullback, and he stepped in there and did a nice job. He offensively ran for 650 yards on the year for us. Defensively, we started him as defensive end, because that's what he played last year. But when looking at some of the things, we took him off of defense for a couple of games, simply because we thought he was a little tired on offense, and we really needed his input on offense. So we took him out of defense for a little bit, and then we ended up moving back to free safety when we had another injury that occurred. So he ended the year at free safety for us and did a nice job there. He had 28 total tackles, had 4 pass deflections. He also had 2 fumble recoveries, and also blocked an extra point. So he did a nice job back there. And then the person that we're really going to miss is Bladen Huber. He did a lot of things for us, offensively, defensively, led us all over the place. Bladen was really originally supposed to be our fullback at the start of the year until Connor went down that first game. So then Bladen moved up from fullback to quarterback, and in our offense, of making the reads that we do, it's tough to be quarterback. It takes some time to get used to things, and moving him, during the middle of the first quarter of week 1, he's already behind on his learning curve. So it took a couple games to get up to speed on some things, and then we were able to start making some strides there as we went down the stretch. And Bladen did wind up leading us rushing. He had 867 yards rushing on the year. Throwing wise, we do a lot of short passes, a lot of jet things where we throw it forward, and in case we do drop it, it is a pass and it's incomplete. So he ended up being 70% completion rate, which is really good.
Absolutely.
And being filling in.
Yeah, but we only threw for 349 yards though. So it is nice completion percentage, and we were able to get something out of our passing game, which was nice. And then defensively, Bladen was all over the field for us. He led us every single game in tackling, I believe.
He was your middle linebacker, right?
Yes, our middle linebacker. And last year he started off as a free safety, and we, through injury, moved him down to middle linebacker, and it was like, wow, he's doing a really nice job there. He was much more involved into it. I don't know if it's just because he was closer and he could see things faster, but did a really nice job. So we have him there at middle linebacker this year, and
I thought he was really good at the Tri-County game.
Yes, he's all over the place, in on a lot of different tackles. Overall this year, none of our guys really had a lot of just solo tackles. All of our tackles were pretty much 2 guys there.
That's good though, right?
It is. It's great. Like on the year, we had total tackles 590 as a team. 419 of them were assisted tackles.
Oh, that's great.
So very few solo tackles, just people by themselves. And Bladen did lead us defensively with 121 tackles on the year. Had 2.5 for loss. He averaged 12 tackles a game, which is pretty good, just flying around there. Also had an interception, caused a fumble. He led us in scoring on the year. So he was our leader offensively and defensively.
And that's a hard guy to replace, isn't it?
It is. We don't have just a whole lot of those guys walk around the hallway. We do feel confident in next year with Connor coming back off his injury, and we look forward to seeing what he's able to do, because going into it, in the summer we had an injury to somebody that we moved Connor and put him as the starting quarterback and said, hey, you got to get ready. And he did.
Connor, what's his last name?
Connor Marlatt.
Marlatt, okay.
And he's been around football at West Central for a long time, following his 2 older brothers, Chance and Cody.
Yep.
So he's got a lot of experience being around the sidelines and watching what those 2 did. And going into it, we're at the scrimmage, and he's asking questions about, hey, if I do this, is it okay? We're like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Like that's like the progression that you're starting to make. And he's like,
And what year
figuring
is he?
out.
What year is he
He's
now?
a sophomore right now, so
Oh,
he'll be a
wow.
junior.
Well, that's good. At least
so-
he has a couple more years.
And we were really excited about what he was going to do. We were really looking forward to how much more is he going to progress throughout the year. And then he got injured.
Yes,
and then
first
it's
game.
you
Gosh.
got to scramble everything around. So we feel really good, really confident about what Connor's going to be able to do for us next year.
Will you do the same thing the summertime with him and all that stuff? Or?
Oh, yeah, we'll start. Whenever our open periods will start in the off season here.
Now, take us through that. From this point on, what does West Central football do now?
Well, from here on out, we're going to start lifting weights next week, and then during our opportunities that the state allows for us to have footballs involved, we'll meet with especially the skill guys and start going through our read and getting the feel for what this feels like, and when you're making your reads, because the running backs, they have to be able to feel the quarterback putting the ball in their stomach and then pulling it and not knowing when to
take it and when not to take it.
When not to take it, those type of things. Because if they just clamp down all the time, that's not always a good thing.
Exactly.
So they got to get used to those, how the things feel. And
ask the professionals.
Yes, and you might say, well, it's only been a month. They should be okay. Well, those feeling things, they go away pretty quick. So you got to get the reps in there and all those types of things. So we'll be lifting, and then when we get the opportunities, which we'll have 2 different windows there throughout the rest of the school year, we'll take advantage of those and get the kids in there. Linemen will bring in probably separately than the skill guys and go over things with them, because they don't have to play with the balls like the skill guys do, because they just want to, hey, what do we need to do for a block? So we got to get those guys prepared, and we don't have any seniors up there. Like, they're all coming back. Our top 7 guys are all coming back up front. So there's a lot of positive that we have going forward with that group, and just overall on the team, we got a lot of guys with experience coming back. We're going to have a majority of kids finally that are going to be upperclassmen, and that's going to be the first time since I think like 2018 that we've had a majority of the team be upperclassmen. So it's one of those things that people might say, well, what's the big deal? They were sophomores, juniors this year. Well, there is a big difference between sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So getting those kids a little bit older, we got a lot of things that we feel like we're going to be able to do next year.
How do you keep them together, even through the off season?
Well,
like
that
this?
was something we discussed already this past week when we had our final meeting on Tuesday. We discussed what do we want to do, what type of goals do we want to have, and we discussed that as a team of everyone who's coming back, and they set their team goals. They said, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to be. So I said, well, all right, well, that's great.
This is what it's going to take, though.
How are we going to do it?
Yeah.
Right. So we discussed those things. The kids, they're all very excited about lifting starting. Right. They're ready to get back at us, which is great. Right. That's what I want to see. I don't want them saying, well, it's over, so let's take a break. Let's just be out for a while. So I'm glad they're excited. They want to get back at it. We're also going to plan some just team activity things that we're going to do throughout the year. We try to go to, as a team, the different sporting events. We'll do a basketball, boys and girls. We'll try to get to a wrestling match as well. And in the spring, we do tailgating at baseball and softball games. So we try to do things like that, just get the guys together, give them food, because that always seems to make them all want to come. So we'll have food there, and then just go and support our fellow classmates as they're competing. And then we've also talked about doing some other just team activities outside of the school. We've thrown around the idea of maybe going bowling at some point and doing some things like that.
How do you implement the 8th graders that are coming up?
Well,
and how's the size of the 8th grade class?
There's 5 of them that I believe right now. So hopefully we can increase that number a little bit. And that's one of the things we talked about at the meeting is the older kids. They had to give me a list. Each of them had to give me 2 to 3 guys that who do we need to talk to, who we need to get out here. And so we've got a list of high schoolers compiled right now that we're going to go and target. I talked with the 8th graders today. With the scheduling this year, they've moved some of my classes around, so I do have 2 8th grade classes this year. So I got a couple of those guys. I talked to them. I said, hey, listen, we're starting lifting next week. You guys need to start coming there. If you're not in a sport, you need to be there. They were very, very excited about being able to move up and be with us. And I said, you guys also need to give me a list of 2 to 3 guys who we need to go get. So they're going to get that list to me, then we're going to start going at people, trying to get them to give football a chance.
It's like a buddy system, really, isn't it? I mean, because if you get this team oriented and, together, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I mean, for me, when I played, all my friends were there. Like, I don't know where else I would have gone. Like, all my friends were there, so why would I not be there?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we can get that type of mentality going forward.
Another thing you got to stay away from is injuries.
Yes.
Class A football, you don't have very many numbers anyway. None of you schools around here do. And you just got to somehow stay away from that.
Truly, we were pretty injury-free other than
First game.
The big one.
First game. The big one that took out our quarterback. We only lost, I think, like really 2 guys to injury.
And then COVID issues, but other than that.
Yeah, we did have a few guys out for quarantine things at different time points.
Yeah.
But
So what do you think about the future of West Central football?
I think we're going to be okay. Like I said, we got a lot of guys coming back next year. We're going to have a big senior class. We'll have a decent-sized junior class. Our sophomore class will be a decent size. Our freshmen, we got to get a few more guys there. But they, for the first time, like our middle school, they won a game this year. I think for the first time in like 3 years. So there's some positives building. There's some guys down there that coming up. There's going to be some athletes down there that I think are going to be able to help us. And
did freshmen play in the varsity this year?
Yeah, we unfortunately didn't have enough for JV. We're about 2 guys short. If we could have 2 more guys, we would have been able to play some JV games. And last year we were able to do that because I think we were about 30, 31 guys on the team. We had 28 this year, so we're about 2 guys
over 30
away.
again. Then.
Yeah, so if we can get to around 30 again, we'll be able to do some JV games and get some guys more experience, which is a positive. Like last year, they only played 2, but that was 2 games that they got to play that they didn't this year.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Hall is joining us here. And Mark, your coaching philosophy, does it change with your personnel, or do you keep the same offense and defense regardless of who's there?
It has changed. Defensively, we probably changed more than we have offensively, but we've changed offenses in my time that we've been there.
It's because of your players, right?
Yeah, it's why we run the offense we do is because we don't have a whole lot of big guys. So we're going to make the defense have to think. And when the defense has to think, that's not good for them. So we make reads. So the defense, no matter what they do, as long as we make our reads correctly, the defense is going to be wrong. So that's why we run it. So we get extra blocker on there that we can send out there instead of having to block everybody on the front line. We're going to read somebody, and now we got linemen going downfield and getting linebackers instead of just dealing with the linemen. So it's offensively we probably stay more so with that, but there are different wrinkles we throw in there. Some different formations we may run more some years than others based upon who do we have. But the main concept, the basic one, is going to be we're going to read people. We're going to do option things. Defensively, we've changed things. 2 years ago we changed things. We've talked about possibly this going forward, depending on where we have people, who we get out. We may have to change some things defensively again. But we're thinking we might be able to stay there with running our really it's a 4-4 but 4-2-5 personnel type defense.
Sure.
What do you do in the off season here?
As a coach,
do you relax for a while here? Or
this week is it. During the season here that's left for other teams, I'll probably go watch a few games here and there, or I might just say, hey, I can sit on the couch and watch like 13 of these games on the computer. So it depends on that, and sometimes we might go as a staff go to a game if there's one that we think is going to be a really good one. But previous years we would have gone to clinics, things like that, but last year they didn't have any because of the COVID issue. So this year I haven't heard anything. Hopefully they do, because those are fun, because you get to go listen to people that are having a lot of success, and then you get to also be with other coaches and hear what they have to say too.
Sure.
So
you went to Manchester, right?
Because
yes.
You guys steal everything from everybody anyway.
Well, that's
all you.
Well,
right?
it's a family.
There's no point in inventing new things if it's all out there. One big difference that I've heard from football coaches compared to basketball coaches, and football coaches, like we're willing to share, talk things, but basketball coaches I've heard are very guarded. They think that they've invented everything new. So I've heard that is a huge difference between football and basketball.
Well, Mark, we sure appreciate you coming over each week and talking a little West Central football. Love to do your guys' games, and glad you're a part of our show, and have a nice off season, okay?
Thank you, and thank you for everything you guys do with putting us on the air and helping local athletes get attention.
All right. Mark Hall from the West Central Trojans, back with more of the Coach's Cage program right after this on 3kgthecage.com.
For over 60 years, Hamster Group has helped build America. In 1958, a small Northwest Indiana builder began constructing homes. Through the years, by following the motto, quality and integrity you can depend on, Hamster Group has grown. Today, Hamster Group's associated around the country with homes, schools, shopping malls, churches, medical buildings, and more. So for your next project, large or small, and quality and integrity you can depend on, call 219-956-3111 and speak with the experts at Hamster Group.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117, or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza, and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
You're listening to The Coach's Cage, presented by the Hamstra Group.
All right, back on the Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com. Friday night, it's high school football. It's Rensselaer Central playing Andran, but not at Andran, I guess, is what I heard today. And here to tell us more is Chris Meeks. Before we start talking about last week's game, get the details on what's happening Friday night and why the change.
Last couple of days, there had been rumors that possibly that they would move it out of Andran because of their field conditions. So today it was finalized that the game will be at East Chicago. We had no say in this matter whatsoever. It was strictly their choice. So, if we had our say in it, we would prefer to play at Andran or even move it to our place. We practiced on our field tonight. It's in great shape. But I guess their field's in such bad shape that they want to move it up to East Chicago. The disappointing thing is, you want to try to centrally locate it so we can get as many fans there in a timely fashion as possible.
Right.
But instead, we'll be bypassing Andran and headed up to the farthest corner of the state, East Chicago.
Yeah, you're going right up next to the lake there, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. But I guess the one positive is it is a nice facility, and you guys have been there before.
Yes, we have. Yes.
We've been there, and we really like the facility.
It's a turf field, right?
It is a turf field, and current weather forecast for Friday looks like there's going to be some showers and some wind. So, it might be nice playing on that turf field in the long run.
Well, let's go back to last week, and what a first half you had against North Newton at home. Nice win.
It was, and we were nervous coming in. we watched several films of them,
Mm-hmm.
and they had evolved from week 1, week 2, where they were a shotgun spread team with a new quarterback, to a more comfortable offense. And you could see them getting more comfortable each week running their wing tee. And they had the athletes to run it. They had the big line. And we were really nervous coming in from the standpoint when you watch them. Boy, they control the ball. They were perfectly content with 3, 4, 5 yards a pop. And
they did that the first series.
They did. And they reminded a lot of us, to be honest with you. That's what we do.
A mirror image, yeah.
So our biggest fear was they'd come out, control the clock, control the ball, play keep away from us, and here we're doing the same thing. Next thing you know, it's a short game. And they got the ball first and did that. I don't know how many play drive it was, but they drove all the way down to our 15.
I think it was 12 plays.
12 plays. And we were struggling to get them off the field. They were converting first downs, doing what they needed to do. But when you do that, you've got to finish out with the drives and get points. And our defense dug in, got a stop there. And then at that point, it was important for us to go into offensive mode, move the ball down, and score. So, we did the same thing. The only difference was we were getting some big plays. We were getting some big chunks. And like I said, we're totally healthy. And when our skill players are healthy and they're clicking, they can make some plays, and they did Friday night. I thought we were clicking on all cylinders for 48 minutes. I thought we played a very, very good game.
Yeah, I was going to say, the first half, I don't know.
First
You guys
24, yeah.
You guys like to get things that you didn't do well the first half, but I didn't see very many.
No, you're right. I mean, I thought we played very well. We finished out drives. Tate was 7 for 8 passing for the night, but the one miss was a beautiful pass play down in the corner.
They caught it.
And Kelton tried to get his foot in bounds, but, just a little bit out of bounds. But, kids were making plays. And our big guys up front were doing a nice job, offensive and defensive lines, and just everything was clicking.
That's got to be a great feeling for you. Do you script out your plays too, like to start off with, or no?
No, I don't, and I'll tell you why. We never know what we're going to see defensively against our offense. I mean, sometimes we'll see a 3-5, sometimes we'll see a 5-2, sometimes we'll see a 6-1, and we've had teams run a 7-1 versus us. I mean, we never know what we're going to see. So we take what the defense gives us, and like I said, our kids did a nice job of executing Friday night.
In the second half was the running clock, and you got to play some younger players, so that's a good thing for you too, right?
Second half, we wanted to come out and
What'd you say at halftime anyway?
Nothing.
Well, actually, we did.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, our goal was to play a complete, a very solid 48 minutes. And that was 24 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We had another half.
That's right.
So if we came out and turned the ball over twice and had 8 penalties or whatever, that's not good. Our kids came out, executed well. We took Dylan Kidd off the offense, and we put Diego Hernandez Reyes into our running back position, and we wanted to get him a lot of reps with our first line. And he did a very good job. And, Tate was still running our offense. So we wanted to go one series with some of our starters and mix some kids in there. And then right after that, we went JV, and those kids executed well too. And then we had an opportunity to get Cohen Craig out there and kick his first field goal, and did a nice job booting that through. So,
and you never know when that could be needed, a field goal, right?
And we've told him that all year. It's not like it's going to be pre-planned 3 days ahead of time that you're going to be kicking. Yeah, it's going to be a last-second thing. We're going to call your name and number, and you're expected to go out there and make it. And he's a pretty good kicker.
Yeah.
But, like I said, we were clicking on all cylinders, and we felt that going in. Last couple weeks, throw out the Hamilton Heights game. The Northwestern game, the Benton Central game, we could feel the momentum starting to build towards tournament time. And then that week of practice, I really feel like we can tell when our kids are dialed in, when they're studying film, they're asking questions, and things are just clicking in practice. That carried over to the game, and that's usually how it works.
Yeah.
So we were very pleased.
Had a lot of guys play well. Tell us about them.
Yeah, Tate Drone, as I'd mentioned before, he was 7 for 8 passing, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. But I think his biggest thrill of the night was he caught his first touchdown pass. And
boy, that was a great play. You got everybody to go to one side, and he was all alone on the left side, on the east side of the field there. How wonderful a setup it was.
And we've practiced that for a while, but we haven't had to run that.
How good does that make you feel when that
Execution.
Execution is just like he wanted it.
Very good. And a few things happened on that play. Number one, people are used to seeing Dylan taking off, running that sweep to that side. So like you said, the defense converged on him. But the fact that he looked 99% of the time when we throw that play, we're going to throw it to Kelton downfield. Well, he looked to Kelton, then he checked off, and then he threw back to Tate.
And that was drew nice everybody over to the right side.
Yeah, and Tate was all by himself over there. And at that point when that ball's up in the air, and everybody's just holding their breath. Don't drop this, Tate. Don't drop it. Tate looked like a receiver out there.
Yeah.
Hauled it in and sprinted to the end zone, and that was a nice play. So that was a 45-yard touchdown pass. Dylan, as we said, rushed 11 times for 141 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he threw the touchdown pass. Diego Hernandez-Reyes, our freshman running back, had 39 yards and a touchdown. Kelton Hesson, our wing back, he's been running the ball real effectively, but we didn't need him running the ball the other night. But he still had 3 catches for 48 yards. And then Kenseth Johns, again, a kid that did not play his freshman, sophomore, senior years, came out and we're glad he did because he's doing a lot of great things for us. Had a beautiful catch in the back of the end zone right before halftime on that bootleg pass.
Very nice,
yeah.
yes.
Went up high and caught it and brought it down. So he had 2 catches and a touchdown for us. And then defensively, I'll tell you what, we're pretty tickled right now with Trent Simmons. Trent,
what a big difference he's made the second half, Chris.
He has. And he's a kid that played JV for us last year, has gotten better and better, worked his way into a starting offensive position. Then we moved him to defense.
He's a sophomore, right? Or a junior?
He's a junior.
Okay.
So now he's playing both ways for us. But instead of just playing for both ways for us, now he's an impact player. He's making plays offensively and defensively for us. He had 10 tackles. He had 1.5 tackles for loss and did a great job blocking up front for us. Jordan Cree has been solid for us, especially the second half of the year, really making some impact plays. He had 9 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss. Colton Metzger, a kid that was not starting for us early on, was playing JV football and got better and better and worked his way into the starting lineup and has not came off since. He had 7 tackles and 1 tackle for loss at the inside linebacker position. And then Adam Ayler, another interior defensive lineman, had 5 tackles and a tackle for loss. But, we talk these stats, but something that is important that, I want to talk about is we put in a freshman, 6'4", 6'5", 250 pounds, Brian Camarina. He got his first start on defense, and his job was to go out there, and in that wing tee, they like to pull, block down, have their linemen come down on our linebackers. So we needed somebody with a big body and a motor to go out there and just occupy their linemen. Mm-hmm. And if you watched film, and I don't know, Jeff, you probably saw it, he was occupying 2 linemen at a time. He did a great job of keeping those linemen off our linebackers and kept them free. And even though he had 3 tackles, just did what we asked for him to do, and that was huge for our defense.
Those little things make a difference, though, Chris, don't they?
And that's the point we're trying to make to our team, is the little things are the difference makers. It's not like we have to have 50-yard touchdown runs or a kid get, 30 tackles in a night. It's the little things that add up that equate to victories. Cohen Craig was 5 for 5 on PATs and, again, kicked a 22-yard field goal. So a very productive night for our guys, and we look forward to moving on to Andran.
What it's been like in practice this week?
Crisp, sharp, great attitude. One of the things that happens when you win the game, you're ecstatic Friday night, and you really don't want to think ahead, even though the coaches start looking at film and stuff. The kids, let them enjoy themselves. We bring them in Saturday. We do the weightlifting, the running. We talk to them a little bit. But, we kind of let them have their weekend. And then us coaches, we get together Sunday morning. We've already watched a lot of film. We start putting our game plan together. And then come Monday, it's a fresh start. So it was a nice win over North Newton. At this point, it's time to move on. We start watching Andran. So Monday, we watched 3-4 films of Andran with the kids. And the kids, in their minds, we already know what our game plan is. But at that point, the kids start seeing in their minds things that they think we can be successful with, things that we can exploit. And by the time we were done with film, I think everybody felt very positive, very confident that we can play with this team. We will be underdogs, but this is a great opportunity for us. And, since 1999, since I've been head coach with our coaching staff, we have pulled off some big victories, and we think we've got an opportunity to get one Friday night.
Tell our listeners about Andrean.
Andrean is they're a 2A school. They have 75 kids on their roster. They've got nice size up front. They've got great athletes. They've got kids from all over. And, year in, year out, you don't know what they're going to have. They graduated a nice senior class, and they've got some new kids that have appeared, and they've got some very good kids. But we like our guys, and our guys relish the opportunity to play a team like this. We know they're very talented. We know that they're getting a lot of statewide accolades. But, again, we watch them on film, and we see some things that we feel like we can match up very well with them on. So, defensively, they'll be very quick. They'll play downhill. They've got a linebacker named Drake Bowen. He's a junior, and he's ranked as one of the top players in the country. So teams like Notre Dame, Auburn, they're regularly at the ball games, so don't be surprised if you see some of them there. But our kids relish the opportunity to play them. In the past, we played Jalen Smith that plays for Dallas Cowboys, and we played the Martin boys from Chittard out here at St. Joe Camp, and so we played several kids like that before. So it's just another opportunity to play against a great player. But they've got a nice team, very good team, and it'll be a tough game. But if we're dialed in and we play Bomber football, control the ball, control the clock, play great defense, sound special teams, do the things that we have to do. We don't have to be miracle workers, but just go out and do the things that we have to do and do it well. We think we can be in the ball game at the end.
Like you said earlier, just the little things can make a big difference.
Like holding on to the football.
Right.
Blocking
a little longer.
Yeah. Maintaining blocks, getting to that second and third level. Staying away from penalties. All those things add up.
Yes.
Yeah. So if we can do those things, which I'm very confident we will, and we have been doing that, I think we're going to be right in this thing.
Are they run-oriented, pass-oriented, both? Or?
They love to throw. And what they like to do is spread you out. They like to throw it to their athletes and try to create mismatches out there. Their coach, very good coach, very good coaching staff. They make it loud and clear they're going to take what the defense gives them. So I think our defensive coaches put together a nice, elaborate defensive plan. We got to go out and execute it and just play hard and get after them. And for 48 minutes, let's get after them, see what happens. And if we do that, I like our shot.
And teams got to believe they can win, right?
They do. And everything I've seen in practice, our kids do believe they can win. And we just got to get up there to East Chicago, get warmed up, get this thing started, and let's play it for 48 minutes. And like I said, I think we can do some good things up there.
Chris, is this a game that you're going to have to rely upon not only the 11, but maybe 15 of your players, that consistency of staying focused of what they got to do offensively and defensively? Is that right?
And special teams. Absolutely. Yeah. We cannot have special teams breakdowns. So, so many times focus is on the offense, so many times focus on defense.
Yeah.
But we've got to pin them deep with our kicking game. Our punting game has to, if we stall out, we've got to be able to flip the field, but we got to get down there and cover them. And they've got some athletes. But you know what? That's the Hoosier Conference too. Mm-hmm. So we're used to seeing athletes. And like I said, if we're fundamentally sound and we go in and clicking on all cylinders and play hard, we'll be right there.
Talking with Chris Meeks, Rensselaer Central coach. Chris, take us through a Friday on a road game. When do you leave? What do you do when you get there? What do you do when you get there? And all that good stuff.
We time it out to where and we go on some long road trips. I mean, in the Hoosier Conference, there's times we travel 2 hours. So we'll load up. We time it out to where we get to the school between 5 o'clock and 5:10 for a 7 o'clock game. The players that need taped will go get taped. At 5:35, the quarterbacks, or I should say 5:25, the quarterbacks and centers will go out with Coach Hickman, and they'll do their routine. At 5:35, our special teams guys, our snappers, our kickers, our punters, our returners will go out there, and they'll do their thing with Coach Stevens. And then they'll come back in at 5:55, and then at 6:10, we're right to the minute. At 6:10, we take the team out. We'll do our team stretch. 20 minutes prior to the game, we come back in. We'll talk about a few things and get them watered up, and then we're dialed in, ready to go. We're ready to play football.
Now, on turf, do you have special shoes, or are the shoes all the same regardless?
The old AstroTurf, it was like cement. And so they basically played kind of like with a tennis shoe. This is it's beautiful. I mean, it's mushy, so you just play with your regular football shoes, and it's great stuff. AstroTurf, it was common to see injuries.
Yes.
Yeah, this is totally safe, and it's good stuff. So, the one thing for sure Friday night is we won't have any mud. There won't be any mud. There'll be rain. There'll be wind. You'll have two teams hitting the heck out of each other, but there won't be mud. So
I hope everybody can make it up there. If they can, of course, listen to us right here on 3KG The Cage.
We want to come up there, though, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, like I said, we've played at Gary Roosevelt before, and kind of a tough area there. East Chicago, our dealings, like I said, we've gone up there and scrimmaged several times, and I think it's a pretty decent place there. So if you can get through 80-94, get through that traffic, it's really a neat venue to have a football game right on the lake. And what great weather, 25-mile-per-hour winds, pouring rain.
Football weather.
Yeah, football weather. So
we were there when North Newton won their sectional championship, that game. I can't remember who they played, but that's where Jeff and I were at East Chicago. So
you guys know it's a nice place.
Yes,
that is. Yeah. It is really nice.
Yeah, hopefully we get a huge crowd, and, like I said, we're totally healthy and we're ready to go, and let's play some football.
Go get them, all right?
All right, hey, thanks a lot.
Chris Meeks from the Rensselaer Center Bombers back with more The Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com right after this.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. For over 60 years, Hamster Group has helped build America. In 1958, a small Northwest Indiana builder began constructing homes. Through the years, by following the motto, quality and integrity you can depend on, Hamster Group has grown. Today, Hamster Group's associated around the country with homes, schools, shopping malls, churches, medical buildings, and more. So for your next project, large or small, and quality and integrity you can depend on, call 219-956-3111 and speak with the experts at Hamster Group.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117, or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
You're listening to The Coach's Cage, presented by the Hamstra Group.
Welcome back here to Arnie's in Rensselaer with 3KG The Cage and the Coach's Show. If you're looking for great food before the big game or just anytime, stop by Wagon Wheel Grill in Rensselaer. From their famous delicious Wagon Master to their great homemade chili, Wagon Wheel is the place to go and to satisfy your hunger needs. The hours of operation, 10:30 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day, except for various holidays. Whether you dine in or take it to the game or even stop after the game, call Wagon Wheel Grill at 219-866-9942. Your next venue or great food on South College Avenue in Rensselaer. And now we're joined by Coach Brad Beavis of the South Newton Rebels. And Coach, I think you had a marathon going on last week here at the game that you guys were involved with. Tell us the final score. Tell us the final score there, and just about the game as well.
Yeah, final score was 68-34 Culver. Really good team, very physical team, and just we didn't have quite enough to stand up to them for very long. So hats off to them. But it was a lot of points scored, and we held our own for a long time. Like I said, they're just a very physical team, and they wear you down mentally and physically, and we just weren't quite ready for that in the trenches. And but we put up 34 points and stalled inside the 10 going into halftime. So lots of points out there, here or there. But it was a tough one after the season we had to get get beat like that. But like I said, I thought a lot of good things still happened in that game.
Your quarterback came back, right?
Quarterback, yep. We had Caden Cruz back. Had him back week 9 as well. So.
And how important was that for him to at least finish his senior year here?
I think it was very important for him. It was very important for us. He's a lot of what we did with our spread offense. It's very quarterback centered, whether it's making decisions in the passing game or making decisions in our option game. And having him out and having Evan Krug step in as a sophomore, it's just a tough job to do. It takes a lot of reps, and Evan just hasn't had as many reps as Caden had, and I think it showed. And that too, we're hoping to step in next year, and I think he'll be fine once he gets the reps in. But having Caden back, and he was taking care of himself. He was going down a little early on some plays, just not to take the hit on that shoulder, I'm sure. But he had some long runs and made some good reads in the pass game, and we had some passing yards, had over 200 yards of passing, so like 250, 260 there. So he had a good game, and a receiving corps. We spread it out. I think every receiver caught one. That started. We spread it out and got to multiple guys, and just didn't have quite enough.
So how'd the game get started? I mean, did you feel pretty comfortable how you guys got into the game?
Yeah, I thought our game plan was good. I still feel like our game plan was good. Where our plan was to spread them out. They see a lot of run-based offenses, a lot of tight formations in the conference they play in. So we felt like spreading them out with our athletes. We had a good shot of moving the ball and scoring some points, and that we did. Defensively, I knew it was going to be a struggle. We don't see teams that line up with 7 linemen and line up in that old school T formation, and they hit you with trap and everything's misdirection. And our linebackers are commenting they couldn't see where the ball was at. I was like, it's hard for us to see sometimes too from over here.
And you're on the sidelines.
We're on the sidelines. I kind of know what's coming. At least I like to think I know kind of what's coming. So it was hard. It was tough on those kids, and like I said, we knew that was going to be a tough task, and we tried to prepare them for it. And we just weren't quite ready. We started 5 freshmen on defense Friday night, so that's a good tell for the future.
Is that the most?
That's the most we've started this year.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I think we started 5 as well. But we have a good freshman group, so wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just, physically the freshmen are just a little bit, I wouldn't say weaker, but just not quite as strong as you need to be to hold up to that. They have 6 or 7 seniors on offensive line. Oh. So, it's just a big age difference, big strength difference, game knowledge difference. So
that's where you want to be 3 years from now, right?
Yeah, that's how we're trying to be, yeah. So we keep our freshman group together and add some kids around, and we should be in that same position. So just a tough game for us matchup-wise, but I thought our kids played well. We didn't give up at all. I don't think for 1 second that we gave up at any point. They made some plays. Like I said, we stalled at the end of the first half, which was a chance for us to put some points on the board. Down 34 points, that would have cut into a little bit. We came out at halftime, we got the ball, so we felt confident we could put a drive together, and lo and behold, on the 3rd down, we threw a screen pass, and there was nobody near Corbin Cruz except for 1 lineman, and he reached up and snagged it for an interception, so that stopped that one.
Oh, my gosh.
So, it was a good call on Coach Durham's part, and we just didn't see that guy, and I don't know if he read it right or he didn't move. I don't know which one, but he was just standing right there and took it, so that was a good 14-point swing, you might say. You're hoping a little bit there, especially with the second one. But, 14 points there is a big deal. They had a short field. They went down and scored again. So, just a tough night. But, like I said, I'm pretty proud of our kids and the way we executed our game plan and everything. We just weren't the better team that night.
What'd you say at halftime with the kids?
At halftime we were pretty confident we could go out and move the ball again. We tried to explain to them what we had accomplished in the first half. And we were down by 34 points at halftime, but we'd moved the ball on them. We tried to, explain to them on defense where they had to be. We tried to get them back refocused and believe in what we were doing. They were getting a little bit mentally wore down, so they were, starting to chirp a little bit and starting to complain a little bit. And that's what happens whenever you get tired mentally, and we just try to tell them, like, hey, we've done this all year. You guys love this defense. Whenever things are rolling, we're making sacks. I go, tonight we're just not going to get those sacks. We're not going to get those big plays for losses. Tonight it's going to be a 2-yard gain, and that's our big play. And I think that they started to realize that. And obviously we're in a running clock in the second half once they scored the next touchdown because they're up by 35 points. So it goes a little bit quicker, but I think just resettling them down, getting them back into that. I think some of our young kids learned a lot, and we return a lot. I think on offense we started 3 seniors. We return 8 kids on offense from the offensive group. And like I said, we return, I think we only started 1 senior.
Wow.
So
on the defensive
side of things. So, so we return a lot from what we used on defense Friday night. Now, we normally start 3 seniors. We just had a different package in there. But from when we started Friday night, we'll lose 1 kid on defense. So we got a lot coming back and a lot to look forward to, and I think it's a bright future for sure.
Who played well for you?
Caden Cruz obviously played really well. I thought on our defensive line, our linebackers played well as well. Our linebacking core of Caden Martin, who's a freshman, Corbin Cruz, who's a junior. Those guys are their outside linebackers. And then we have a junior in Luke Patterson and a freshman David Van Wienen, who were the inside guys. Those are the guys that were just confused. They couldn't see things. But I thought those 4 guys played as well as they could, given the circumstances of the night. So my hat's off to them. They fought and did things. They got exposed just because
it's something new.
Yeah, it's something new. And if you overplay one step, like I know our outside linebackers on the backside got burned a few times, but they'd run their trap play. They get right behind the block, and we did an okay job of bottling up, and they'd just scoot right out the backside. It's just a tough thing. So I thought I thought they played well. And I said, like, our receiving core, I'm pretty sure all the receivers we put in the game caught balls and
especially with everybody going to flow with one thing, you don't think they're going to come back to the open side where the flow is probably going the other direction.
Yeah, it's just a tough offense to face. I mean, it's something you don't see every week. It's something that, like I said, wears on you mentally and physically. If you're not as strong as the other team, if you're not stronger, I ran an offense very similar to that for several years. And if the other team's not more physically stronger than you are, a lot of times you have success. And so them being older and a little bit stronger than us probably just aided them in pushing the line of scrimmage every single play back, and just made it tough on our linebackers, and defensive ends were put in conflict. I mean, it was a clinic for football. That's for sure. So if you like that kind of football.
How do you handle the end of the season? What do you say to your team? Do you have team meetings or individual meetings, or what did you say
at the end of the game?
So at the end of the game, I mean, at that point, you have seniors that just played their very last game. You have other kids that, in a hard-fought game, which we had, are upset emotionally. So I just don't think there's much you can say to them at that point because they're not going to retain a lot. So you just kind of give them the spiel about, hey, here's what we tried to do and here's what we did. And for what I thought we did Friday night was we met our expectations as far as the game plan went. So that's all we can ask the kids to do. And they didn't stop. They didn't stop playing. They didn't give up. So that's all you can ask them to do. So from that standpoint of it, they did just about what we wanted to do. We'd already covered what we were going to do the next week when we lost, whenever that was. So we have to cover that, and then we have our seniors always stay back after that last call up, and we kind of as a coaching staff thank our seniors and talk to them just for a little bit, on a little more personal level. That's really the only time I think that as a coach and as a seniors you're both at the same emotional standpoint. We're sad that we lost the game. We're sad that we're losing our seniors. They just played their last game. There's, the whole deal. So we're on the same emotional level, I think, at that point. So that's always a kind of a moment just between coaches and seniors. That's always kind of cool. We try to keep it that way most we can. And then what we do is we come back on Monday after we lose, whatever that is, whether it's the first week, second week, or third week of the playoffs, or hopefully longer at some point. And we just clean up. We clean up our locker room, turn our stuff in, and we meet individually with each class and kind of talk a little bit about what their plans are, and we get an idea of who's going to play other sports throughout the winter. or who's just going to be in the weight room. And then we're going to have a meeting next week, bring the team back after they've had about a week and a half off, and start talking about goals and off seasons and stuff like that. So we try to let them process. We don't try to give them too much at once because they're still young kids and they still don't, they don't handle all that stuff. We don't handle all that stuff as adults very well when we get a whole bunch of stuff. So we try to segment it out. So we've gotten really good, my staff and I, of putting about a week to 2 weeks in between things as we give them. So they're kind of give it to in little slices, and then, here in about a month we'll get back full off season.
We heard Mark Hall say that he's going to have bonding and things like that. Will you do the same thing, through the season as well?
We do. So, and of course, year to year it's different as you see more things or whatever. We try to meet once a month. Uh-huh. So we do a lunch, and I still call it homeroom. It's a pride acronym, but it's homeroom to us old guys. So we do lunch in a homeroom pizza little deal. We get together and just talk about what's going on, see if there's anything we need to talk about, give them a little bit of the schedule coming up for the next month or so, or things in the future as we start to pin it in on the calendar. But we kind of meet that way. We don't do much as bonding until we get into the spring. Summer, we try to do a little more bonding stuff. We try to get the kids to go do some activities together, whether we go to like a game of some sort, or just get them there at school and do something activity-wise. But we start doing that kind of the spring, summer.
Do you do that with the 8th graders too?
We try to get the 8th graders in. It's a little hard, even though we're in the same building. It's just a little hard to get the same schedule with the middle schoolers, and they actually have 4 sports seasons.
Really?
So they do a fall, which is for us would be football.
Okay.
And then they can do basketball, and then wrestling's at the tail end of the winter season. So their basketball gets over soon enough that they can actually wrestle or swim as a second winter season. And then they can, we don't have organized spring outside of track. I guess that would be the one for middle school. But a lot of them play baseball, so they actually get 4 sports seasons as middle schoolers. So they're pretty busy. We try to include them best we can. I try to communicate with them. Technology definitely helps. As they get more used to doing like Google Classroom stuff and Zooms, we're able to do that stuff with them. So we try to include them where we can, but it's into the summer. We try to get them in there, and that's when we kind of make our big bonds with them.
Talk about the seniors, and what do you say to them?
So we got got me off track there for a second. Well, I try not to mention Caden first every time, so I'm going to not do that today.
Okay.
Kellen Krug is a center and defensive end. He's a kid that started for us for 4 years, and he was invaluable. Whenever he was out due to injury on offense and defense, it was noticeable. With the shotgun offense, your snaps are very valuable to have, and we had the rain game against Attica where it just poured and did not have one bad snap. And then the next week we come back with Frontier and it's raining. Didn't have a bad snap. Some of them were low, but they weren't bad as far as they weren't in the ground, they weren't above their head. So just having that capability really allowed us to play very well in both those games offensively. You got Noah Applegate, who was a receiver. Didn't play a lot on defense this year. Hurt his shoulder early in the season, so he was kind of limited on how much we wanted to put him out there. But he was just a great leader. He's a great organizer for us, a great kid that if I needed something in a day to get out, he would make sure it got out to the other kids. Logan Fawcett is a kid that didn't play very much at all, offensive defensively. Started off the season playing every single special team. Then we started moving some kids around. He didn't get quite as much playing time on those either. But senior night, we put him out there, and his job was to stay low and basically bear crawl to kind of stop Frontier's offense or slow it down there. And he did it to perfection. He's one of those, we didn't know how long he was going to play. Basically, I start every senior on senior night. And their MO is, as long as you can do your job, you still get to play. Once you can't do your job, you're going to get replaced. That's just how I've always wanted to do it, and I've always been able to do it. And he stayed in for most of the first half before he started getting kind of wore out, and that guy just started picking him up and throwing him.
Oh.
But Logan's a great kid. He's our FFA chapter president, so he's another great organizer, leader, kid that can communicate with us, and that's invaluable for him, a senior standpoint. We got Seth Hoferlin, who was a 4-year player for us. Once again, didn't get a lot of offensive, defensive time, but played a lot of special teams. And Seth, week 1, struggled a little bit still. But after week 1, started to kind of come out and play special teams with a little different attitude, and actually went down and started hitting people and making himself a little more known. It was kind of fun to watch him really progress this season because he was a kid that we were trying to get playing time to. We just didn't know where it could happen. Tried him week 1. Some things didn't go so well for him. But he came back week 2, and like I said, he showed a brand new attitude. He's one of the kids. Whenever I would try to find somebody on a special team that forgot to go in, when I seen him, I was like, go. At least knew he was going to go hard for that play. So that, like I said, you got to have kids like that as well. And then Caden Cruz was once again our big leader as far as offense and defensive stats and all that kind of thing. But he's a big leader in the locker room. If we could convince Caden to do something, our whole team would do it. If we couldn't convince Caden to do it, it was very tough to get everybody else to do it. So he was the one, not that you had to manipulate people, but we had to manipulate him sometimes to get him to do what we needed so the whole team would do it. And I don't think I forgot anybody there. I did have a senior manager and Emma Krug, which we all got to meet a few nights ago, and quickly scanning to think about it. I feel like I got everybody. If I forgot somebody, I'm sure they'll let me know about it. That's why you got to take notes, right, Bob?
That's right.
You got to commend your season. I mean,
what a season.
I'm going to quote
previous.
Something here from the
here we go.
Most improved record in the state of Indiana of 2021.
Really?
You guys are 4th.
Oh, I thought you said we were first. I was
No.
like, really? 4th, okay. All right.
You're 4th.
Okay.
Because other teams like Spring Valley had a 1-7 season last year. Rochester was 0-7. Fort Wayne Lures was 3-6. Of course, you guys were 0-6. This year, you guys had a percentage of .556, which puts you at 4th because the games, you were 3.5 better than what you were a year ago. You got to be happy about that.
Yeah, it's we knew it was coming at some point. I wish it would have happened years ago. But yeah, I'm very happy about it. I'm really more happy just for our program and our kids. I've never wanted to take credit. It's nice to get credit for certain things, but I think things like that, it has to go to the players because they're the ones that are playing. They're the ones that put the effort in.
Especially your seniors, 4 years.
Especially our seniors, and normally, like I said, we have our team meeting with them and we talk with individually. This year I did it out in the open in front of the other team. I thought it was that important that our younger players seen how respected our seniors were and what we went through, because those seniors went from a freshman. We'd already been in the losing streak, and they seen rock bottom, and they slowly seen it come to where it was this year, where we were 5-5 and 5-4 in regular season. So I just thought that was very valuable to them, and I think they needed to hear that. But yeah, it's a great accomplishment. It's a great stepping stone, and like I said, it's an accomplishment that they have earned, and it definitely took a team effort. I think our freshmen definitely helped out too. But like I told them and told the team, when you're a senior and you accomplish something, whether it be your first win record in a long time or a sectional or a state title, it goes to the seniors because everybody else has still got shots to make it happen again. So it's their record. They had the first winning season and many years, and we're very thankful for them, and still just a few days out, so it hasn't all still wrapped in, but it's definitely starting to come, and I'm definitely starting to appreciate what actually happened more as I'm getting away and not have to do so much of the coaching and breaking down film and practice planning. It's pretty remarkable, I think, from where we went. And 5 wins for some programs isn't anything, but for us at this stage, it's the world. So,
well, how about the future of South Newton football?
Future, like I said, it's looking bright. We have a lot of kids coming back, a lot of skilled kids coming back. So that means offensively we don't have to teach as much in the offseason.
And we got a quarterback lined up.
And we got a kid we hope, and that's Evan Krug. And he got a little bit of shot this year. And like I said, it didn't go as he planned or we planned, but with an off season where he gets more reps and gets a little more film watched, we're hoping he steps in and takes off. But once again, he's only a sophomore, so it's not like he's a junior and should be doing it. I mean, sometimes we forget about the age of kids. So I think he'll mature a little bit. He'll get a little stronger, and I think he'll be all right. He played really well on defense, so it's not like he can't play at the varsity level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just getting that offensive side. But Coach Sturm asks a lot of his quarterbacks. They have to read their option game, and he has a lot of read routes on the passing game. So it's a lot for a kid to handle. So I think Evan's up to the task. We just got to give him the reps, and he's got to want to work. And he's shown it. So
yeah, I was going to say that I felt like when Hayden went down in that North White game, I thought, boy, he stepped in when he needed to and just, try to do what he could do with short notice.
Yeah. And
that's the hardest thing, isn't it?
Well, it's like we talk about here every week, and Coach Meeks is like, I don't know how you guys practice with 20 kids.
Yeah.
It's like there's only so much reps you can get with a kid, when you're practicing that. that number. So like we'll be fine. We'll have some things to go through, and defensively, I'm very happy with what we have coming back. I think we've kind of started to form an identity there, and special teams wise, I think we've started an identity again too. So we have a lot of good things, and the biggest culture difference is going to be our kids are excited to get back in the weight room. Something we've struggled with for a few years, and our kids are actually asking to get back in there and asking for after basketball practice to get in there. So that's going to be the biggest difference. So if we can get stronger again, we'll be able to make big strides again next year, hopefully.
Maybe build off this year, right?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't expect to do better next year.
Will you go to camps and things like that?
We don't normally go to camps. Just it's hard for us to get that going, especially our location, traveling across state, and funding sometimes is a little hard.
Mm-hmm.
But we do Mondays. Every Monday we have football, OTAs we call them, organized team activities. So we go through that. We'll do a couple 7-on-7s and a couple 11-on-11s, and then get it rolling into the fall. So I mean we do a lot because in Indiana we can only get you only get 12 days.
Okay.
So you only get so many days you can meet
Will
as a team.
Will your schedule be the same next year or change?
No, it's going to move around a little bit. We're actually working on moving West Central back to week 6.
Okay.
And we got a team we think lined up. So Covington comes off of our schedule, and then we'll replace them back again at week 2, we think.
Okay.
So they're going to come off technically, but then they'll come back on. And then we have South Central in week 8, which was Attica.
Okay.
So the WRC moved their schedule around, so they're playing all conference games weeks 3 through 9. So several teams in our conference are losing games. I know Tri-County's losing some games. And I think
football
Frontier,
schedules are hard to
it's
make,
hard,
aren't they?
Well,
especially 9 weeks.
You play for 9 weeks, and everybody plays on the same day.
When you only have 5 conference games. Right?
Yeah, that's tough, and we're trying to find teams that maybe want to join. I know we're not actively trying to do that. But
that's right. Yeah, is the Midwest Conference going to expand?
That's what we heard.
I don't know if that's official or not, but yeah,
there's rumors, right?
There should be a couple teams coming in. Like I said, I don't have the official word on that, but I think we're going to expand to 8 teams, but not for football.
Just only
okay.
certain. So basically, like the fall, and spring,
winter, and spring sports.
Okay.
Will that always be that way then, or do those teams not play football? Or
well,
I think
those teams still play football right now. One's thinking they might in the future, but it's not a guarantee that they'll do it. It's good for our conference to get back to 8 teams. I think it makes things a little more consistent. Not when you do your all-conference stuff, like right now, it's very difficult for us to do our all-conference voting, especially for football, because we don't do the offense and defense thing. We do the top 15 thing, which is weird to me.
Yeah.
But
that is strange.
That's what you got to do with 6
top
teams.
15.
Yeah. You just got to do it that way. So when you get back to 8 teams or more, you can start doing the 22, 25, all conference football. But it does help out the other teams, and we play both those teams, most of us in the regular season anyway. So,
did we ask you about your
your
middle school?
Middle school.
Or how many people going to come up from there?
And then you had a flag football program or something?
Yep. So middle school wise, low numbers. We had they played a full schedule, and sometimes Coach Bell and Coach Montemayor are out there putting together a whole new offense. It seemed like at times because kids would be missing or kids out with COVID, whatever. So it was a little ragtag, but they played every week and fought, and it was kind of fun to watch them play. Some kids. So we'll have, like I said, we'll have a few kids coming up next year with that, but we got to get the numbers up in the middle school to keep our high school program flush. And then we did the flag football thing, which is a lot of success. Our kids loved it. Our high school kids coached every Thursday night. We had about 35 kids sign up for it. I think we're going to expand it next year. But they just came out and they practiced for 20 minutes-ish.
Good way to introduce football to youngsters, isn't it?
I'm a big believer now that I think flag football is the way to go for the younger kids. I think it competes with soccer, it competes with basketball, with baseball, as far as the non-contact. I just think the society has changed enough that the contact level at a first, second, third grade, fourth grade is, I don't know if that's the best thing for our sport right now. And a lot of schools are going to it, and I think it's just a great way to introduce the game, introduce the rules, and just get kids excited about playing football and South Newton football especially, and keep them around the program because that's what we need.
Before we let you go, I do want to ask you, that's serious. I mean, lack of participation has been a big problem, especially in Class A football teams. You see that still being a problem in years coming, or
Yeah, it's going to be an issue, especially inside of our conference. I think we were just talking about that. We have about 240, 230 enrollment. I think
9 through 12.
9 through 12. I think West Central is right around that same number. The Frontier, Tri-County are down under 200, I believe. So I mean, we're going to be tough with numbers. North Newton's sitting pretty at like 330, 340.
Is there ever a chance to do something else? Or
there's a proposal right now with the state to do 8-man football. But right now with the pilot program that they're doing, it's only going to be schools that currently do not participate in football. And it's something I believe that our conference put up to explore to see if that was a possibility with 8-man football. I don't know where it's at. That's kind of something to do through the winter.
What positions do they not play in 8-man football?
So you take out 2 linemen and a skilled kid.
I see.
So you play with 3 down linemen and typically 2 split outs or a tight end. But you got 2 guys that are eligible on the outside.
Because something's got to be done with the participation, or otherwise you're going to have 15 out and with injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah, it comes to the point where it's a player safety thing, and like I don't think it's not a toughness thing anymore. I think kids have a lot more to do. Like I'm the young guy in the room here, but even whenever I was in school, I went to a small school. There wasn't a lot to do, so you played sports because that's where your friends were. That's what you did. Maybe drive to town and go bowling or play pool or something like that. But like there wasn't all the cell phones and games and all the other multimedia things. And now there's just so many options for kids, and they just don't want to do it. So I think playing the flag football is a way for us to combat that. It's a less physical game, but it still teaches a lot of good skills and gets kids moving around and learning the game a little bit. And we can evaluate some athleticism still and
get them excited about playing without fear of being hurt. Really.
Right. Well, we actually had
don't tell me you had an injury.
No, we have an injury. Well, we had a few crying things. I don't do good with the crying, so that wasn't good. But we had a kid score and held the football up, like as he crossed the goal line.
No.
So that's fine. Our kids mimic that in the game the next week. You got a flag thrown on.
I know it.
Oh, brother.
Because you can't celebrate early in high school football.
That's right.
It's like,
yeah, of course.
But no, anyways, that's good. But I do think participation is something we have to do. We've made the game safer. The concussion things are still, still relevant, and it's a safety issue. But we've done a lot to promote safer hitting, safer with some of the rules. The equipment's gotten a little bit better. All those good things, but.
Now, like in Illinois, don't some schools join together to have a football team?
Yeah, they do co-op. So I was actually part of 2 co-ops, and I coached over there. You can have 2 or 3 schools come together.
Would that be a possibility?
That'd be an IHSA thing. I don't know if they'd go for that or not. It's actually kind of a cool thing because you get kids from.
It's like I'm also an all-star team, right?
Yeah. So like whenever my first year or my first job as a head coach was actually a full co-op. So we had 2 schools that were. Middle school were separate, but high school came together under a different name, different color scheme, different whole thing. It was actually kind of cool to see the kids from both schools kind of interact with each other. So,
I mean, you North White could go with West Central, Tri-County and South Newton.
Right, yeah.
I mean logistics isn't that bad, really.
Now, the thing with Illinois is they still have a lot of schools that are 150, 160, and they're a town. So traveling the next town 50 miles away is a little different than traveling the next school that's 40 miles away. Yeah. So that might be the only limiting factor here with that. So I don't know. I think that's something that needs to be addressed and think about and be proactive about. But I don't think we need to be stuck in just being traditional, and this is how we've always done it either. I think that you need to kind of manage that traditional with, hey, we've got to keep the game going because ultimately football still makes money at schools that play. I mean, it's still one of the only sports that make money besides boys basketball.
It drives almost the athletic program, really.
It does. Now you get schools like Benton Central has a very successful girls basketball program. They make money. Right. Our girls in volleyball break even or make money, most years because they're successful and they bring people in. But most schools, it's boys basketball and football still. And so if you lose football, there's a lot of fun. I mean, there's times I'm astonished how much gate we make. Whenever Coach Bell tells me on Monday morning, I'm like, I didn't think there was any people here.
Right.
But we make, $3,000 or $4,000. It's something that people need to think about. We can't just get rid of things because we're not being successful like our case. It took us, 4 years to have a winning season again, but I would have hated for us to get rid of football just because we weren't successful.
Right.
Because I see what it did to our players and our school this year. Our volleyball team had a very successful year, and our football team had a successful year. And the locker room, the hallways were just electric with school spirit and everything else. So it was it was fun to see. So I think we need to figure out some way to keep kids involved.
Brad, we sure appreciate you coming over every week, and we enjoyed doing Rebel football this year. Have a good off season, and we'll talk to you next year.
Yeah,
okay?
even the guests are great. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thanks to you guys for everything you guys do for promoting high school athletics around here. All the schools, I know we appreciate it, and it's just a chance for us to promote our program, so we really appreciate the opportunity to do that.
Brad, good enough. Thank you very much. Brad Beavis, South Newton Rebels, back and finishing off with Scott Rao from North Newton right after this.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
For over 60 years, Hamster Group has helped build America. In 1958, a small Northwest Indiana builder began constructing homes. Through the years, by following the motto, quality and integrity you can depend on, Hamster Group has grown. Today, Hamster Group's associated around the country with homes, schools, shopping malls, churches, medical buildings, and more. So for your next project, large or small, and quality and integrity you can depend on, call 219-956-3111 and speak with the experts at Hamster Group.
You're listening to The Coach's Cage, presented by the Hamstra Group.
Bob Church, Jeff Gastineau, Scotty Miller back here at Arnie's. Thank Beth and the crew here for providing all the food and drink to the football coaches. Next week we'll start not only finish football, but start girls basketball season here on the Cage. As girls basketball season, I think some teams had their scrimmages already or are having them this week. And then next week the regular season begins. But the season has ended for the North Newton Spartan football team. Scott Rao, coach, has joined us now. Scott, it was not a good night at Rensselaer last week.
No, it did not turn out well. The result was not well. You know, it was good crowd, good evening. Just the end result was nothing like we wanted.
You started off good, your first drive, but then after that it was not good.
Yeah, you know, we came out and we wanted to do what we started doing what we wanted to do, control the ball, be able to run the ball, eat up clock.
Move down the field,
but the only thing we didn't do is we didn't finish the drive and score. And then, once we didn't do that, and then they took the ball and scored relatively quickly, I think just everything went out of our guys. They just –
you had some penalties right then at that time too, didn't you?
That killed that first drive.
Exactly.
A couple penalties put us behind the sticks, and it made it tough for us to complete that drive. And I think that would have added, if we were able to do that, I think it would have added to our confidence level. I don't know if it would have made a difference in the outcome, but other than what the final score was. But Our biggest problem, we couldn't stop them. We tried a lot of different things, and I tried some new things, and nothing really seemed to work. And but that's the way it is. You're playing a team that's pretty good. I knew they were going to be really good. They were getting back healthy, just about had everybody back, and they were doing really well. And we weren't completely healthy, so even it just didn't work out the way we'd liked.
Yeah, everything went well for them. I mean,
things just kind of fell into place for them, and it went well. And our kids, and they played hard. We came into it with the expectation that we could play with them. And like I said, I just think when a few things go bad at the start, it makes it tough mentally for those kids to get through that, because we'd played them already once and lost to them. So we knew we were behind the 8 ball, and we had to jump on things quick. And when that didn't work out, it just kind of went downhill from there.
What'd you say after the game to your team?
Well, I told them, I took a lot of the blame. I said, it's really, ultimately, it's ended up my fault. I did not have you prepared the way you should have been prepared to play this game, whether it's mentally, physically, positions, or the strategy or whatever it may be. Obviously didn't work out, and they did. I said, you did what I asked you to do. You played hard. We didn't always play well, but we played hard. We didn't do the right things all the time, but we still played hard. So I said, and you kept playing as the game went on, even though, sometimes they just did everything went well for them. Things just kind of fell into place for them, on top of the fact that they were, handling us up front and controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. It made it tough.
Still looking back on your year, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's still it's tough when you get to the end of the year, and you lose in the finality of it, and it's over, and you end with a loss all the time. But when you look back on it, the season was really successful. We accomplished 2 of the 3 main goals. We had a winning season, which is 3 out of the last 4 were winning seasons, and we won the conference for the 4th time in a row. Those seniors went through their high school career undefeated in the conference, 4 conference championships. I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened before. No matter what conference we've been in, I don't think that's ever taken place. So, these seniors have gone through in their 4 years, they're 23-16 overall, a winning record for the 4 years they were there. Like I said, 4 conference championships. And this season was another one of those. We didn't blow people out by any means. We had to earn everything that we got, and it came through on there and playing hard. And it was under some odd situations, still with the pandemic and kids getting quarantined and people are in and out. And we had more injuries this year than I've had in other years. So it was trying. We're putting kids in that don't have much playing experience, and they're having to get it on in a hurry. And in some cases, it happened twice this year where I didn't know I wasn't going to be without a kid till like Thursday or Friday. We're getting ready for the game, and all of a sudden they're quarantined, and you're like, I was throwing another kid in there that didn't have very many reps. And I tell them the same thing, play hard. I mean, you're going to make mistakes. I know that's going to happen. And I've always told the guys that, they go on the line, I said, you're going to mess it up and you're going to block the wrong guy, but block somebody hard. Because I know this, we have no plays where you block nobody. So, don't stand there.
Yeah.
Go
no
hit
plays
something.
where you just watch. Huh?
No, we don't have any of those plays. I'm almost positive of that. So, and for the most part they did it, obviously, and we made some mistakes, but we were able to pull out those games and win some games in the conference and get done what we wanted to get done.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, Scott, you've seen these kids. I mean, your first year was 4 years ago.
Right.
The seniors 4 years ago.
Yeah.
What do you think they have learned from you, and then vice versa maybe from?
Well, I hope they've learned from me that, and because I preach this all the time, that about adversity, and you're going to have problems, and like I said before, you make mistakes. You're not going to know what to do. You're going to do things wrong. Do them as best you can, and always. And then when things don't go well, regroup and try to do it better. You know, I'm telling them all the time, you know, you got to win those individual battles, and you got to do that. I said, and I relate it to life in general. I said, you're going to get out of here in high school, and you guys seniors probably aren't going to play football again, because, you know, football is the one sport where as you get older, you don't play. You can, you know, I can still do pickup basketball games, and you can go out and play softball. And you can do a lot of it and play tennis and play golf. You can do all that, but, you know, as old guys, we don't put gear on and go back out and hit each other. I said, you're not going to get to do that again, you know. So you need to take advantage of these 4 years and every little thing you can get out of it, and it's going to relate to life. You're going to face all kinds of adversity, and the two choices are, you know, the will to way, or you're going to have to figure out how to do it better and keep moving forward. So I hope they learn that from me. What I learned from them is, you know, the approaches that you have to take and the ways you have to approach things with them, you know, and because we were just talking about it before we went, you know, on, you know, how old I am, you know, and how I got to relate to these kids, and you know, and you know, I'm telling them stories and I'm doing stuff, and they look at you like you're from Mars or something, you know, because we're talking about stuff that they have no idea even existed. You know, and so I've learned a lot from them as well on how to stay relevant and stay young and stay, you know, keeping, you know, just in talking with them, understanding, you know, where they're coming from and the things that they have to go through and in their everyday lives, and how much different it is from what I went through. Yeah.
You seems
It kind of changed things. It kind of takes your attention away.
Scott, it seems like you've got the program to this level. How do you get it to the next level to compete for sectional championships, win sectional? You have won one a few years ago.
Right.
But how do you get to that level consistently?
Well, it's building a program that starts, you know, from the ground floor. As I've heard, you know, everybody's talking about, you know, trying to get this flag football or get this stuff going or that. You know, we have our Pop Warner teams, and, you know, this year we had the high school kids do a clinic for the Pop Warner kids. They came out on a Saturday for 3 hours, and I had, you know, our high school kids ran them through drills and put them in different groups and had them do different things. And I thought that went really well, and we're going to try to expand upon that each year, either do that more or do it more often. And then, you know, in getting into situations where we're running different things. Our biggest thing, again, is going to be numbers. Can we get kids to come play? Our junior high numbers still weren't great. But, you know, I told our kids today, I said, you know, for our school, I'm looking at, you should get 10 boys out of every grade to play. I said, if we get that, that's 40 kids on the team. That's, you know, it's much higher than we've had in the last 2 or 3 years. I think that's a big factor in it. How are we going to compete? You know, when we're coming into the game with, you know, Friday night I had 20 kids dressed. You know, again, and Rensselaer comes in and they got 50 kids on the roster. So, you know, like I've said before, you know, when somebody goes down or gets dinged up, then we move 3 people around to try to cover that situation. It makes it tough because then in practice, everybody's not getting reps, you know, because it's not like I got just a first group and a second group, you know, because so you got to mix them all together. Numbers is going to be big, and we got to get more people involved and find our ways to do that. You know, that's a good question. How do you do that? I constantly am asking kids that I got in classes, you know, that don't play football. I go, okay, did you play when you were younger? And most of them will say yes, like when they played in Pop Warner. You know, and I try to figure out I'm curious, what is the reason that you don't do it now? And most of the time, the kind of answers I get seem to revolve around commitment. You know, how much you got to commit to do that to be successful. Because, you know, I've told our team many times, I said, it's really not hard to get good. It's hard to stay good. I said and we're kind of in that spot. It really wasn't. Yeah, it really wasn't difficult for us to go from not winning record to a winning record, and to doing the things that we're doing. but it's hard to stay there. And I said, and it's been a chore every year to stay on top, even in our conference. You know, everybody's getting closer and everybody's doing everything they can.
Yeah, get a target on you. You know, all these things that happen.
Yeah, you're going to get everybody's best game, and we fight complacency. You know, then people get complacent. We're on top. We'll always win. Well, that's not going to work that way. You know, I said, so you know, we have to work harder now. And that's what I'm trying to get across to them. To stay at the top, you have to work harder than you did to get there. So, and that's one of the things that I'm working on constantly with them, trying to get them to understand that, you know, we got to keep improving. You know, we're not there, so to speak. You can look at other programs where we're not even close to them. You know, so I said we're not there yet. So, you know, when you start winning, you know, sectional 4 years in a row, I'll say, okay, you're pretty close to being there. You know, but even then I'll say you're not quite there yet until you start getting up even further. So that's our next step. You know, we got to get to where we compete for sectional titles. And I said, you're going to have to beat teams like Rensselaer. You're going to have to beat teams like Andrean. You're going to have to be able to beat those kind of teams to do it. It doesn't matter who you draw or when you draw them or what sectional you're in. If you're going to be successful, you got to be able to compete with those teams and win some of those.
Before we talk about next year, let's go back to your seniors and talk about them.
My seniors this year.
How many did you have?
I had six.
Six,
Six
okay.
seniors. Had 5 of them that had been with us all, you know, every year. Braden Schoon, who played a running back and ended up playing on the defensive end as a defensive end on the defensive side. Did a lot of things for us. Filled in at quarterback in one game. You know, there at KV when he had to, and the kid he just did it all. You know, great leader, was really involved and all that. Unfortunately for him, you know, got injured right here at the end of the year, missed the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and he didn't get to play, which was unfortunate for him. Being a senior, that's always bad. But had a great 4 years for us. Gavin Johnson was another one. Great 4 years. I think he played every position except for center, you know, on the offense at some point during his 4 years. The kid's about 155 pounds, you know, 5'9", but he played offensive tackle last year, played some guard last year when we had injuries and needed him. Started out at wide receiver, played tight end, played tackle, played guard, played fullback. This year he even had a couple snaps at quarterback. You know, he just did about everything for us, and defensively the same way. I can put him anywhere, and he would just do it. You know, had a great attitude toward it, just wanted to play. You know, he's going to be missed. Both those guys are. And then our 3 senior linemen, Matt Berry played both ways, had an excellent senior year, was an all-conference player the year before. Did the same thing this year. You know, he's going to be hard to replace. Arden Kalinsky played center most of the year, played tackle a couple games. Did a really nice job for us on the offensive line. And Anthony French, who played some offensive line, defensive line. I think he played guard, he played tackle, he played defensive tackle, he played defensive end. In different games, he just moved all around and did a great job for us as well. And then we had a senior that came out this year, Riley Cornforth, came out and joined him this year and played and did a really nice job for not at playing the last 3 years, coming in and trying to contribute whatever he can, whether that was on the scout team, whether that was on special teams. Played most of our special teams and did a really good job for us. So those 6 guys are going to be missed, you know, and you know, we're going to have a lot of spots to fill. You know, those first 5 guys all played pretty much both ways at times. So that's like 10 positions instead of just 5 that we're going to have to fill, and that'll be tough.
Let's talk about the future then. What do you think?
Well, you know, we did have in our skill positions, we had a pretty good sophomore class and junior class. Both of them are got a lot of experience this year. So we're going to be looking for them to do most of the playing next year. We'll be more of a junior-senior heavy team, and I think it's going to be good. And again, a lot's going to be as I told those guys at our end of the season meeting, I said, recruiting is going to be a big thing. You need to bring more bodies out. Our sophomore class has the 9 or 10 guys that are playing. Junior class needs to pick up a few, and then we'll see what we can get from the others. Yeah, numbers are big, and we got to get up in the 30s so that we can compete with those teams. Because we're still going to have the Rensselaer, North Judson, KV work weeks 2, 3, and 4. We're going to have to you got to be physical, and you got to have some numbers, and you got to have people produce.
How about the 8th grade? Or are you getting anybody from there?
Yeah, I think we will. The junior high had a pretty good, had a decent season. They got better as the year went on. They have to be combined because of the numbers issue, but I think we're largely 8th graders, so I think we'll get 9 or 10 of those kids coming out and contributing and being able to do things. We still got to build the junior high up. I'll still hit the junior high hard and keep recruiting it and keep doing it, because I would like to have 2 separate teams, a 7th grade team and an 8th grade team. But you got to get the numbers up to support that. We get close.
What do you have to have a 7th grade team?
I would, to me, I would think you're going to need. I would like to have about at least 20 in both. I think you should have probably 25 7th graders if I can get it, and then probably it'll drop to 28th graders. Then it drops to like 15 freshmen, and then usually you have 10 sophomores, and then once you're at the sophomore level, those guys tend to stay, so you have 10 the rest of the way. So you should be, at a school our size, we should be close to 45 guys on the high school team, and like I said, 28th graders and 25 7th graders would be the ideal thing. But, we got a long way to go in that. So, we're working toward that.
What does North Newton football do from now till the start of the next year?
Well, I told them, I said, you're going to get some time off here. I'm not, you need to recuperate and get your bodies back. Some of them are going on the other sports and competing. I said, then we're going to have to get in the weight room. And I tell them this all the time. I said, I don't want you to go in the weight room just because I think everybody should be bigger and faster and stronger. That's great. But the main reason is for your health. Nothing showed, this year should have showed you that it's a physical game, and it's hard to go through the 10, 11, 12 weeks, and put your body's joints and all those things, and, you're going to be in some odd situations, and and things are going to hurt, So you got to build up the strength so your body's able to take that kind of punishment, because it's not normal. What you're going to go through in the 12 or 15 weeks isn't normal. It's not the same as, playing those other sports where there's not physical contact. So I told them, I said, we'll get in the weight program. We got 1 weights class, try to get in that next semester if you can. If not, I'll open the weight room and on mornings before school and maybe some after school, depending on what we have. And, or you got to join a gym, and I'll put you on a program, and you fill out stuff, bring it to me, and make sure you're doing it, and I'm going to give you all the opportunities to do it. I can't make you do it. I'm going to give you the opportunity to do what you need to do to make yourself better for next year if you want to have a decent year next year and be healthy. I said, and it doesn't really matter what sport you're doing it for. I don't know any sports where being bigger, faster, stronger is a bad thing. So I said, you're going to need to improve so we can stay healthy, because if we're only going to have 25 guys, we need to stay healthy because we don't have a lot of people to put in.
That's right. You do any other coaching on the offset?
Actually, no. This year I'm not.
No softball.
No softball anymore. I gave that up. I think it's just I'm interested to see how I'm going to do it, because I haven't done it for. I don't know. I've never just done one sport. So
sure. Now you are.
In the 38 years. So I'm
maybe enjoy yourself a little bit.
That's what I said. I might have more time to put into this and more time to put in the off season. Because I thought, in the last few years, as far as football goes, it's kind of suffered in the spring because I'm doing that from January on. So I don't spend as much time in the weight room with them as I do. I count on other people to do stuff. And, now I got more time to take part in that and to kind of supervise that and make sure we're going in the right direction there. Obviously, I wish the softball program all good luck for everything. It's going to be great. They'll be good. I just thought it was the time for me to get out and kind of slow down a little bit.
Who's the new softball coach?
I think it's Jessica Wynn, who was my assistant.
I see.
I believe she's getting the job, and I don't know who else she's going to have with her and all that, but I think they'll be pretty good, and they'll have a good season.
Scott, will you take your team to camps and things like this, or maybe individual things to kind of help them out?
Yeah, in the summer we'll do a lot of that stuff. When we get to the summer, we do. Last year we went to a camp at Manchester, went to a team camp there, and I took a team there, and basically we just used the Manchester facilities, and with 3 other schools there, and we just scrimmaged each other on several different practices, several different times, because we were there with Northeastern High School, Lafayette Central Catholic, and I just drew a blank on the other team that was there, but there was 4 of us there, and we scrimmaged, and we got a lot it was a fantastic thing for us because we got to see a lot of action, and it's just that thud scrimmage because you just got top half pads on, but it was really good for us to see different types of schools and different types of things. Batesville was the other school that was there, so that was good, and it was just a 2-day thing. You show up and you do that and you stay the night there. Manchester feeds you and you get a place to sleep, and then you use their fields, so it went really well for that. And then we have other scrimmages throughout the summer. We went to Rochester once and scrimmaged with Rochester and Fort Wayne and Culver, so we saw different types of offenses there and things of that nature, and different types of defenses to try to run stuff against. And we had another scrimmage down at Covington with Covington and Fountain Central and Seeger, I think, and did with those guys. So it went. South Newton was there instead, and we did a summer scrimmage there. So I'll try to set up all the scrimmages we can get. We'll try to do that team camp again because I thought that went really well. This was the first year we went there. We used to go to Taylor University for a camp, but then that one they quit having it, so it kind of shut down. The other schools quit going, so we found a new one, so it's worked out really well. Hopefully that'll do it again, and and I think the kids liked it. We had a good turn. We had 22 kids who went, so which was pretty much our team. So it went really well. So we're hoping to do the same kind of things this summer.
Do you respond to the 8th graders the same way as some of the other coaches? I mean, do you kind of approach them, hey, we sure love to have you next year, blah blah blah? And
I can send them a letter, and I do a lot of things. I send them correspondence or send them a letter through the mail, so they get something at home and their parents read it with them, but it's addressed to them. I do the same thing with every 6th grade boy coming out that's going to be in 7th grade. Over the summer, I'll send them a letter also inviting them to come play football. I'll do the same thing with the 8th graders, inviting them to play in the high school. So I try to correspond with them. I try to send them letters because kids kind of they used to like that. I don't know if they like it as much as they once did, like years ago before you had all this electronic stuff and you could do all that. Getting a letter in the mail used to be cool, but I don't know if it is anymore. So I might have to start doing, sending them out however they do it nowadays. I don't know. I'll have to get somebody young. I got to get somebody young on my staff that knows how to correspond.
Instead of us old Godgers,
Yeah, I'm doing old style stuff, and their kids are probably looking, I get a letter. What's a letter? I don't know what that.
Well, Scott, we really do appreciate you coming over every week and talk a little Spartan football. We love doing North Newton games this year, and you provide a lot of excitement, and we really do appreciate you and your staff and everything you do for us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate y'all doing what what you're doing. I got all those thank yous. I do want to say, I hope people stay and keep in prayer and the thoughts with Mike Atwood, our athletic director, who's still in the hospital. Still on the ventilator. He's fighting, and he starts to get better. Then it kind of goes back and forth.
Is it his oxygen that it's going back and forth?
It's not going very well. His lungs are not doing that well.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what's going to take place, but he's still battling it and still fighting it because they're a week ago they were like, things are going good. They're turning it down. It's down to like 50% on the ventilator, and then boom, it goes back up to 85% he has to do. So it's back and forth, and it's just not a very good situation. We're all praying for him. I hope he gets through it okay. It's one of those things where you start to think about that. He's 58. He's a year younger than me. He's fighting for his life, and you start thinking, it's a crazy thing. And I obviously want to thank all our administration and thank and administration, teachers, the custodial staff, our groundskeepers, all them guys. They do a fantastic job. I get a lot of support there. It's really good. The student body's starting to come back. They were coming out to the games, and things are getting. They're excited and they're cheering and they're rooting the boys on, and everything's kind of going in the right direction for it, and we want to keep it going. I'm really happy with all them, and then obviously personally, I want to thank my wife because she does so much stuff that allows me to do this thing that I love to do. I love coaching it and teaching and doing that, and she takes care of a lot of things so that I can just concentrate on that, which makes things a lot easier. So, a great, and then I'll thank obviously the parents, especially the senior parents, because they came up with meals every Thursday night. They fed the kids and they did the stuff and decorating and doing all those things. I know they don't always get told that, but the kids really do appreciate it. Sometimes they don't act like they do, but they do. I hear them talk, and they're really excited about the things that the parents do for them. So they're like most kids. They don't want to tell their own parents how excited they are, but they are excited about it, So, and they do a really good job with us, and I really appreciate everybody that's involved in the program in some shape or another.
Scott, thanks for coming over again. Appreciate it, and good luck and have a good off season. We'll see you next year.
All right, thank you.
All right, Scott Rao from the North Newton Spartans back to wrap things up on the Coach's Cage right after this.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
For over 60 years, Hamster Group has helped build America. In 1958, a small Northwest Indiana builder began constructing homes. Through the years, by following the motto, quality and integrity you can depend on, Hamster Group has grown. Today, Hamster Group's associated around the country with homes, schools, shopping malls, churches, medical buildings, and more. So for your next project, large or small, and quality and integrity you can depend on, call 219-956-3111 and speak with the experts at Hamster Group.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza, and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
You're listening to The Coach's Cage, presented by the Hamstra Group.
I don't hear him.
Hello.
Where's he at?
Hello.
Did you switch mics on us?
No, I didn't.
Why don't I hear you?
There we go. Now we go.
Scotty threw a curveball on us.
Bob Kurtz, Jeff Gastineau, and Scotty Miller ready to wrap things up. Jeff, I'm looking forward to it. I thought we were going to Andrean, but
I did too.
We got to go a little further north and west, I assume, huh?
Yeah, north and west and closer to the lake, Bobby. So
we've been there before, though.
Yes, we have, and we know there's heat in there. So
the facilities are nice.
Very,
I remember it's going to be a turf field.
And we're
Rensselaer Central against Andrean at East Chicago.
Right. And
Central or just East Chicago?
East Chicago, as far as I know,
okay.
if I remember right. So, but it's up there. You got to take the 912 or 319 or something like that. It's north.
You'll have it figured out by the time we go Friday.
Anyway, it's up north in that northeast or northwest corner of the area. So
if you're going to the game, listen to us there.
Yes.
And if you're not going to the game, listen to us here.
Exactly. Great combination, if you ask me. So, but.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I'm really excited because I'm enthused by Chris's attitude.
He always approaches the game that way,
I like the way he's thinking about how we're going to handle. I mean, they've got 4 good receivers. One of them is over 700 yards, and the other one was like 600 yards, Bob. And their other 2 are in the 400 and 300. So, does that tell you anything about this quarterback?
Yeah.
Their rushing is only about 400 yards. Their leading rusher. And so I'm intrigued how they're going to do this.
I remember the last time we did it, they got off to a bad start, didn't they, Rensselaer? And
yes.
They got way behind early and
yes.
tried to come back and couldn't.
And that's the thing.
But they had a turnover.
The mentality of, what we saw with Scott Rowell's football team. You go with a great 11, 12, 13-yard drive and then
play drive
stops, and because of penalties, because of this, because of that, and so the Bombers have to attack, and
don't turn it over, don't have any penalties.
Yeah, and keep it crisp. That's how I look at it. But I'm excited. I know from what I've kind of saw from.
You're getting prepared already, aren't you?
I'm prepared. I've gotten stats already, some things that I didn't even realize during. The second round of sectionals for the Bombers and Andrean. So, those are interesting facts that I'll be glad to present to you guys. But we want you to come and we want you to listen to us.
Yeah, make sure you listen to us. Friday night, 6:45 for the pregame. Jeff and I will be there. Bill's a little under the weather here, so it'll be you and I. So we'll be up to East Chicago and broadcast, hopefully, a Bomber victory.
That's what we're hoping for, yes.
All right, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff Friday night. Rensselaer Center taking on Andrean at East Chicago. Changed because of the bad weather predicted here over tomorrow and the next
Supposedly
day.
Andrean's
Friday.
field is really bad, and so anyway.
Okay, so we'll do that. And don't forget, next Wednesday, we'll not only finish up the football season, but we'll start with the girls' basketball coaches coming in. Girls' basketball starts next week.
Wow.
Regular season does. Our season, I think, will start the week after that. But anyway, we're going to have a 30-game girls and boys basketball schedule on 3KG, the Cage. And plus, I'm really excited we didn't get to do it our first year. We're going to have a 10-game baseball and softball schedule, too. So look forward to that. So we'll incorporate some of the girls' coaches coming in next week. I think there's just one change of a girls' coach. KV's got a new coach. So other than that, everybody's the same. So, that means Wes Radke's coming in. I know. So we'll be all prepared for him and give him his own spotlight here. So he'll love it that he's on camera. So we'll wait for that next week, all right? Thank all the sponsors for making the show possible.
Thank you.
And Jeff, great job there. Scotty, as always, a great job. And till Jeff and I see you Friday night at 6:45, Bob Kurtz from Arnie's. So long, everybody.
The proceeding was a presentation of 3KG Community Broadcasting.